All right, Nick, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning, defending two-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, as we're legally obligated to say. But nonetheless, this is a team that does a lot of really smart things. And sometimes you just have too many good players on your roster. And it seems like the Chiefs have done another really smart thing to try to fit one more good player onto this roster. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, the Chiefs, plenty of good players, a lot of good guys throughout this OTA's training camp offseason, a lot of bright spots on this Chiefs team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But there's one guy in particular who the Chiefs seem to be making an exception for, creating a position to get them on the field more often. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is over from on Chiefs Wire. It says, the Kansas City Chiefs didn't have a fullback on their roster last season, but may decide to bring the position back after a strong showing from rookie Carson Steele in the preseason and training camp. Steele made a great first impression on fans in his preseason debut against the Jacksonville Jaguars last week, showcasing his powerful running style and versatility to fulfill duties as a lead blocker in two-back sets. He was Kansas City's leading rusher in the game, racking up 29 yards and scoring a touchdown in just 4 carries. Playing mostly as a running back, Andy Reid seemed to have a different vision for Steele during the Chiefs' final training camp practice on Thursday, when Steele was seen as taking a carry as a fullback with Isaiah Pacheco behind him in a heavy formation. I think this is really interesting. I think this just shows how much they like Steele so far in camp. Nick, I'm curious what your thoughts are, but before we get to you, Chiefs fan, in the comment section below, we're talking fullbacks. Might be, a limited list, few and far between, but there could be some good answers out there. So, Chiefs potentially bringing a fullback back. Who is your favorite Chiefs fullback of all time? Let us know in the comments section below. And while you're down there, check out our recommended reading. It's none other than Playmakers. Mike Florio, been plugging it all off season. Go ahead and pull the trigger, buy the book, get it. Amazon affiliate link below in the description. Costs you nothing. Helps out the channel. But nonetheless, Nick, thoughts? Carson Steele.
Well, this is on the heels of earlier this week, still getting reps with the ones, obviously with Isaiah Pacheco taking some time off ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire in terms of a traditional running back. So it's clear the Chiefs are evaluating Carson Steele and trying to figure out where exactly he fits on this offense. And I think they kind of basically named him a starter here, right? He's going to be the starting fullback for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know the fullback is kind of a dead or dying position, but it's really important. There are a lot of teams like the San Francisco 49ers who use their fullback position very smart. I think the Chiefs will potentially use that with Carson Steele, but I think this is bigger ramifications than just having a nice rookie in training camp who's doing a lot of good things, who can maybe come into a unique position for you. I think the Chiefs are about to fix, and I think, frankly, moving Steele to fullback full-time as their starting fullback will fix their biggest weakness. If you look back to the 2023 season, the Chiefs were pretty much good everywhere, right? Even though a lot of people thought the wide receiver position had issues, and at times it certainly did. When you dig into the analytics, it wasn't always the case. It was just kind of a rough patch where they're trying to figure things out in the middle of the season. But when healthy, they were really good at wide receiver, around top 10 or so. They were very, very deep. They just had a rough patch there. But when it comes to their biggest weaknesses overall, statistically, it was on 3rd and 4th and short situations. According to NFLlines.com, they finished 17th, 1-7 in first down percentage in those 3rd and 4th situations. That's 16% below the number 1 team, just behind top flight dominant teams like the Washington Commanders, right? The Chiefs were not good on 3rd and 4th and short in 2023. Carson Steele is a guy who could come in and immediately fix that. Having an aggressive physical fullback, he's the guy that can turn 3rd and 1 into 1st and 10. He can turn those 4th and 1s into 1st and 10. A lot of people look at what the Chiefs did against the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game, winning that game on the back of defense and some clutch offense. People forget that the Chiefs actually could have scored a lot more points, but they got stuffed a lot in short yardage situations early in the game. They could have really turned that into a blowout early on. I think that was sitting in the mind of Andy Reid and the Chiefs. They were looking for this guy. They found Carson Steele, and they moved him right into this position. I think they've got a new starter here in Steele who fixes their biggest problem. I think this is a great move by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Nick, and the Chiefs keep doing it again and again as far as the running back position goes. They just keep getting guys coming in, becoming good, and utilizing them the best they can. We had Isaiah Pacheco come in a couple of years ago, 7th rounder, come in, really do a lot of very interesting stuff. We got Steele come in undrafted, doing a lot of really great stuff as well. I just think the Chiefs are coming back to their old ways, especially on offense. We know it was a very defensive team last year. It was a team probably one of the better defense in the league. They had a lot of really great star power. Now they had to lose some of those guys. They have to revamp what they're doing. So what do? I think they're going back to an older style of Chiefs, an offensive focused team, a lot of different options, trying to get all of the talent on the field they can. We've seen it all throughout OTAs and all training camp as well. Got 2 great tight ends now, a lot of interesting receiver options in the fold. Now we're getting more options on the field in the way of the running back. I think this is going to be great to have the fullback on there. And it's fullback in name only. I think this guy's more than just a fullback. Like the article said, he's a great runner. You said it, great short yardage runner, great blocker. I think this guy can do a whole lot of good for this Chiefs team. And I really like what Andy Reid potentially will put into the playbook, because we know he's got an endless bag when it comes to his plays. I think we're going to see some really interesting stuff for Carson Steele.
And just one final point to end on here. It's important to understand what the Chiefs gave up to get Carson Steele, a guy to fix, I think, one of their biggest problems, if not their biggest problem. They gave up like a $50,000 signing bonus. Not even that. I think like $25,000 for an undrafted free agent. They used a 7th round pick, like you alluded to, on Isaiah Pacheco. The Chiefs aren't just fixing problems. They aren't just finding gems. They're doing it with incredible value. They're not giving up a lot to find these quality players. I think that's a credit to Brett Veach. What they have in Kansas City is special. We all know it, but year in and year out, they continue to prove it. And the emergence of Carson Steele is just the latest example of it.